So real quick, starting from right to left, tell people your name.
Alfredo Smalls, co-founder of SOS, local crip member.
Ali, co-founder Band of Brothers, local club member.
Spawn Page, co-founder of Nationally Touching Greatness, and active.
Delverne Cooper, co-founder of Nationally Touching Greatness Incorporated, active gang member.
So gentlemen, why are we here today?
It's unrest in our communities right now. There's too much violence going on, and there's a disconnect to the goal that the oath that we took meant to uphold, and it's unraveled and it's getting out of hand. So, I mean, we got to be responsible for the areas that we broke. We got to be able to help fix it. That's what I think this is.
Absolutely.
We're here to offer our advice, our expertise, our services that each one of our organizations offer to the community, not only just the kids, but the parents, the adults. Everybody is welcome to participate. This is our community. We got to keep it like that.
And what I want you guys to listen to is very important that each one of them said, they're all founders of organizations. So they're not just here as individuals coming from the community that are talking about work that they put in. No, this is evident. There's work. They're all co-founders and founders of organizations that are in the cities of Albany and Schenectady, putting in the work to create change with our youth.
I just want to put out there that as gangs, for all gangs, they need to put up and to learn about basically every gang I mentioned just now. And when you sit there and you look at their paperwork, you look at the way that their true direction, it's none of this stuff that's happening. It's none of the shooting. It's none of the drugs. It's none of the oppression that's happening in the community. The structure of all of these gangs is simply to fight against oppression. It's the reason that the Bloods was originated. It's the reason that the Crips was originated. It's the reason that the Gangs of was originated, et cetera, et cetera. They were put here to fight all of this nonsense.
Hold on. We don't want to give them that yet. We're gonna get there. But we want to lead them. We want to lead them into that. Go ahead, Dad. Brother, we're gonna get there.
It's an increase in gun violence. It's not acceptable in our communities. We're here to get to it, talk about it, see how we can intervene with it. It's not acceptable. We don't want it.
And the most important thing I really want you guys to listen to and understand is that regardless of where these gentlemen come from, right? Not only are they a true testament to the products of their community, but they're also a true testament to change and influence in their communities. Because these are family men, these are fathers, these are individuals who run programs, these are individuals who you deal with and are on par with on a regular basis. And without this conversation, do you really even know their background? A lot of people that are going to see this and hear this, right? They're making decisions for communities that a lot of times they drive past. And the thing is it's unfair to think that people who don't know or don't understand our community can fairly make decisions, which is why, again, instead of us asking for a seat at the table, we're creating our own table, we're having this discussion, and we're inviting you to come in to be a part of that. So before my man right here gets too deep, because he's going to take y'all to deep water in a second, as an individual who comes from the community, right? What were some things as a youth that you experienced in your community?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, so when I came up here, I always tell everybody it was beautiful. It was space. I didn't even know that there was this much space. I didn't even know what backyards was from Brooklyn. So coming up here, when I played basketball, which I'm not really good at, right here. All the adults here. They all showed love. It was one community, like a family. I remember going to play football. That's my story. The older gentlemen from the neighborhood would be at that game, whether they had a child there or not. You know what I mean? So I experienced what it felt like to have an older male role model be there to help support you and straighten you out when you went astray. And then they were gone. And I started getting raised by the streets and by kids that were just a few years older than me. So they didn't know, we didn't know, and now we know because it hurts. You go through this road of life, choosing these wrong choices because you only got 4 choices and 3 of them are wrong, and the other one you really can't get your hands on. So you make the best choice out of the wrong ones, and you go through that pain, and then you come out and say, "Well, I don't like that. I don't like that. I got kids out there. If somebody was to do to my kids what I did to somebody else's child, talk about it. With the maturity that I have now, that I can't accept that. You know what I mean? And I think when people take that into consideration, that changes your heart. It changes your morals. I was living off of false pretenses. So I experienced love out here when I first came out here.
My experiences as a child, growing up was difficult. Single mother, 4 kids, working 2 jobs, so she's never home. Father, don't know where he's at. So I tried to get into, I played the saxophone for a while. I played baseball, I did wrestling, I did basketball. I tried so many different things, but I lost interest because when I looked up in those bleachers, I didn't see nobody there for me. You know, so after a while, I lost interest. I started going outside. That's where the fun was at. You know, stealing, throwing rocks at cars on the highway. You know, dumb kid stuff. And it was a snowball effect. One
this
thing
live
led
real
to
quick.
another,
I just want to
that
set my
led to
computer up.
another. And next thing you know, I'm 14 years old and I'm never home. And my mother's never home, even realize I'm never home. So I'm thinking I'm grown, making choices on my own. Very, very, very bad choices. One of those choices cost me 7 years of my life. From 16 to 23, I was in prison. And knowing what I know from my experiences growing up, I know that I would have stuck to one of the many things I chose to try if I had that support. If I had somebody there, like, hey, keep going. Yeah, you're doing good. That's good music. You play good ball. If I had anybody to just support me, I probably would have, I would have stuck to something, and I would not have been outside getting into dangerous situations.
For me, I came from Brooklyn originally. It was, I was subjected to drug addicted parents, prison. Basically, most of the harshness of the community, I basically was, I had experienced. I think what my biggest thing, or like what was difficult for me was it was poor coping. It was like I knew what I felt. I didn't know how to deal with it. Right. It was people, due to the fact that my mother was on drugs, my father was incarcerated. I had other people in the community, I had uncles, I had just people that I knew just on the streets, on the stores, stuff like that. That they tell you the right thing. Some tell you the right thing, some tell you the wrong thing. And you pick up on whatever you take to. I was one of them kids where I was smart. I was in accelerated classes, all the schools, but at the same time I was the baddest kid in the school. And then, for the school period, that was like hard to come to grips with. Why are you so smart? But you so bad? I don't make any sense. But what it is like I said, it's poor coaching. So we can sit there, we can have the intelligence to know what to do, and we can have the tools to know what to do. But if you don't know how to express what you got in you, you can't even. It's hard for you to focus on what you're supposed to give your time and your attention to. That due to the poor coaching led to poor decision making. I got to the point where it was like, you know what? That's everything. That's the world. That was my way of responding to everything. And when you say stuff like "F the world," you actually forget that you're in it. So everything that happens from your actions, they come right back to you. And you're like, where? By the time I was 16, I was in prison. I was in prison. I counted jail. I was in prison. I wasn't even old enough to buy cigarettes, but I wanted one. I needed one. I was stressed out. I split it off. Florida. I did 12 years. Well, I do 12 years. You know, I use my tongue basically to create me, man. And make myself a better me. And that's why I'm here now. I want to get on my message. I know for a fact that these kids need people to talk to. They need people that experience what they've experienced. People that experience it firsthand that can tell you, hey, I know for a fact because I've been there. I was really there. You can't tell me that I wasn't. You can't tell me that you know no better because you ain't been there. I'm telling you. That's it.
Yeah.
My childhood experience is coming out similar to these gentlemen. Parents always had the worst. They never was home, so we had to grow up quick. Wanted to be down, like wanted to be accepted for all the wrong reasons. Not listening. That led me to the streets and being in jail, just like these gentlemen at an early age, 16, 18 at Elmira Correctional Facility, looking for a weapon to cut somebody. You know, and that just my parents, they was never around. They had to work to support us. So with that being said, I had to learn everything on my own. You know.
Real quick, so before we move on to another question, does anybody have any questions for the speaker? I want you to feel like this is interactive. Because I see everybody focused, I see everybody listening, I'm glad. But I don't want anybody that's here to walk away without really taking what's being given. Yes, Mom.
Hi, I'm Alfredo's mom. I want to know from your perspective what I could have done differently so that you wouldn't have experienced the things you experienced, even though I went out of my way to prevent you from ever having to do that.
Honestly, there wasn't nothing that you could have done different. You moved us out of Brooklyn. You gave me space. You gave me love. I had everything. I had probably one of the best houses out of all my friends. I had almost everything.
I stayed at his house. It was nice. I moved in when I ran away.
Top 5 in the state on my regions for science. Top 10 in the state on my regions for math. 12th grade, I didn't even have to do work. I did it all. So there was really nothing that you could have done with it. The absenteeism came from the males that were out. You know, it came from me having those bad run-ins with officers. I had private police officers. I had a bad issue with them. I was 13 years old. I shouldn't even had an issue. I was coming from roller skating. You know, that those were my own passions, my own grudges that I held. I got a big family, so I'm losing family members left and right, and I feel this urge and this need to protect my family. So it didn't matter what color it was, what you were doing, who you were. I felt I needed to protect my family. So when I started looking for those role models to help me learn how to do that as a man, I was stuck with what I had left, which was him. I had a couple others, but you know, we were kids learning from kids. Nobody told us stop. No, don't. You know, if I needed a weapon, I could get one.
That's a very important question. I want, and I ask all you guys, I want you guys to listen to that, right? So, as men who grew up with little to no male role models, positive male role models in your life, right? How did you form your perspective of what it meant to be a man? Where'd you get it from?
Streets. I got it from the streets. I got it from putting together, stringing together almost every experience I had with a man to the point where I couldn't stand men, and it was easy for me to do the things that I did to people's children because, you know, like you want them. But I never knew how to control that. You know, you get the warrior, you get the fight, hold yourself down and protect your family, but turning it off was what I was never taught how to do. You know, and then I had kids, and I started thinking to myself, like, damn, I got my little brothers right there. Listen, I get that to him. That turned it off. Being a case manager turned it off. Trying to help other people get away from parole, not go back to jail. And hey, listen, there's a bunch of people down there. Not saying that you're not tough, but just don't go down there. Not saying that you got drugs, but if you dress like this and you're in this area and you're moving like this, they're gonna say something to you. I know how to be different.
Okay, I got I'm curious.
So as men who may not have positive male role models, little to no male role models in life, how did you formulate what it what you feel it took to be a man? What were some of your influences? What
I saw, the guys that were outside, that were selling drugs, that had guns, that, you know, had the nice cars and the pretty women, and, you know, I moved around so much. I never had uncles, cousins. It was just me and my siblings. Me, I'm always outside, so those older guys that I wanted to hang out with, that were drinking, smoking, that was my idealism of what a man was and was supposed to be. But after, same like him, you know, after going through some self, you know, checking and getting to know myself, you know, my perspective of a man is totally different now.
What is it now?
It's being responsible, it's being caring, it's being passionate, it's being a leader. It's just so many things that go into being a man. It's complex. It's so complex that, you know, you really can't explain it. You just gotta know it and be it.
So I think it's important for people to understand, like, for individuals like ourselves, I say for myself, like, so my brother, like he'll tell you, as men, we didn't have a lot of male role models, so we were kids teaching each other how to be men. And the thing is what does that look like to somebody who wants to identify but doesn't know what to identify with? And all you see and all you have is what's in front of you. You love your people, you love your culture, you love your family, you love your community, but what if all that's in your community is destruction and despair? Does that mean that your people are bad? No, that means there's some situations that need to be addressed. And what I love about the men that are sitting here right now, like, that's what we're doing. We're not saying everything was perfect. Like I really want you guys to take into consideration the fact that we had a whole real live mother-son moment. And I don't know if people really understand, like that was a real moment. That's not scripted. This is a mother and a son having a real life conversation. And his mom asked him, like, what could I have done differently? And his only response, because it's out of love and understanding now as a father, is, no, you did everything you could. You did everything right. It wasn't on you. It was on me.
Because my own decision.
And the thing is like, these are the things that are missing. When we're having conversations about policy and procedure, and decisions are being made behind closed doors about what laws and what regulations look like this is the information that's not taken into consideration, because the people making the decisions don't know this. I'm sorry, I don't want that. Let me I'm saying now. I'm about to go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Marvin.
I want to ask. This is for all of you.
Yeah.
You have Black Lives Matter. Everybody talking Black Lives Matter. Tell me, Black Lives Matter and we shooting down each other.
Talk.
And we fighting the police when they shoot somebody or put the knee on somebody. And we for shooting each other up every single day. They had a shooting up right in my street there. How many bullets? 20 bullets on one car. In Brooklyn, they shoot a 1-year-old. Why you would walk with a gun to a barbecue? The woman come out of her house to tell them stop the fireworks. They shoot her down there. And they're talking about Black Lives Matter. Come on now. Come on. We gotta think Black Lives Matter only when the police shoot them.
What do you guys respond to that?
I got it. I really identify with what you said. And I'm going to say what they won't say. The people that's out here that spend Black Lives Matter towards the police, they right. Black lives do matter, but they need to be...
All lives matter.
No, they need to be reminded that Black lives matter themselves. Everything starts with self. The worst of oppression is oppression of self. So we're going to sit there, we're going to tell the police, like, y'all oppressing us. Black lives matter. Y'all forgetting. Y'all forgetting that Black lives matter. But the same people that's out here, they forgetting that Black lives matter. They showing it with their actions. They have to be reminded as well. It ain't, honestly, it's not just for the owners. It's for everybody. The people themselves have forgotten. The people themselves are overlooking it. The people themselves are moving with that action to their movement. They got to be reminded of that.
So statistically speaking, right, I was just looking at this earlier. By population, the violence is really, it's not too far off from urban areas, metropolitan areas, and non-metropolitan areas. The violence per population is not too much off. You got to understand how much. There's probably, 20, 30 families given the regular city block. So your neighbor's right here. You got 2 over here and 2 over here. Your interactions with everyone is consistent. It's the same thing that happens in prison. So these 3 gentlemen over here are gang members. I'm not the same gang as them. I go into their home in prison, and if I have a problem with him, I have to get out the prison because I will always have a problem with him, and I'm going to see him. See, when you go to these suburban areas, there's not too many families on that block, and that family lives in that house and has a designated space. It's not that black lives don't matter and that black on black crime isn't a thing. These crimes are going to happen against anyone in these cramped situations. So you could have a fight with a white guy because you're in a cramped situation and now it looks racist. Just gave it a name.
What are some of the factors that and I think that's important because again, what we're doing is where we're not just giving information, we want to show people, we want these guys to understand. What are some of the factors that play into some of these really tight communities, Ali?
Before I answer that question, I want to, address what she asked. I'm not one to really get into all the details of every little situation. I know that we are here for a solution. So that's what this conversation is about, is building these bridges and these relationships with law enforcement, with legislators. So that won't no longer be a thing. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter. We know that. You know that.
All lives can't matter unless Black Lives Matter. So we'll stop saying that.
The community just have to keep in mind that you have to have some type of regard for life. That's it. It's regard for all life, period. Right. Because I ain't gonna hold you, don't matter. If we sit and we talking about the crime and we talking about the shootings that's happening nowadays. These bullets that's flying, they're not determining who they hitting off of race. They're determining who they hit off of who's dead, who's in the vicinity.
These little boys is getting guns from grown men.
Yeah, it's not like, it's just regard for life. It's regard in your own life, other people's, in yourself. If you shoot somebody, you're taking your own life. If you lose your life in prison, you dead. That shit.
I had somebody ask about 2-3 weeks ago. He said, I remember you from when I was little. It was almost embarrassing. He said, you still in the streets? I said, I'm not in the streets. Oh yeah, because I had this problem with this kid, and I think he wanted to shoot me. I can get a gun. I said, if you don't go home, where are you going? Where you going? Come here, get in the car. You're going home. Brought him home. Told his parents, took him home. What's the boy's name that you? So he told me the boy's name. I went to go speak to the other young man. And I brought them to the park on Congress so that they can talk. Because y'all about to try to do something stupid to each other, and y'all can talk. So it would have been another grown man, because these kids, they cannot produce the weapons that they have by themselves. So it's men who call themselves OGs or big homies or big homeboys or gangsters and gangbangers and all of this whatever. Drug dealers. You're giving children weapons, and that's why you have all of these reckless killings, because they don't know that there's always a tomorrow. You're mad at this man, but you don't have to go get no. How the hell did you get the gun in the first place? Who gave that to me? Like, I wish someone would give my little brother a pistol. I wish you would. Man, if I could go back and address the men that gave me pistols. I asked somebody for a gun one day. That person called my dad. God bless his dad. My dad called me. I never got spoken to like that in my life. Couldn't even say nothing but okay.
What did he say?
He told me that he messed up his life, and he would die before I messed up mine.
And what did he make you do?
Huh?
What did he make you do?
Yeah. I ain't talking about that.
Mama asked, what did he make you do? This ain't no Mama asked. Drink a little water first.
I actually had to make amends with the person I actually had some issues with. I had to pretty much cut ties with the person that I asked for that pistol. I couldn't speak to that person no more. I couldn't indulge in the streets without his knowledge. Under no circumstances or else I would have to answer to him. He told me if I ever seen him where he was at, he treated me like the man I thought I was. I never seen him doing that. It's safe to say that I got off parole. Never been back to prison since.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
You start with communication and education and having kids and having people to build things and to worship the things that they have on the ground level. So worship the things you have your home. So build your own home. Education. Learn how to build your own home. Learn a career. Learn, you know what I mean? It starts with that. Like when you learn and you build and you can do things for yourself, you worship your community more than when you just live within it. You know what I mean? Like so just living in your community and not owning stuff and not knowing how to, build stuff and do things. Like little kids need to learn
self-sustaining.
So that's a really good question, right? So as far as, because you guys are all in different communities, you all come from different places, what are some things you see currently in our community that our kids are lacking? Because you guys are out here. Band of Brothers is out there globally. You guys are out here in Schenectady. You guys are out here in the community. So again, for everybody on the outside, it's easy for. What do you guys see? Because you guys are in the community dealing with these kids on a regular basis. And Ali, you can start. What are some things you see that these kids are really lacking? What do they need?
Discipline.
Oh my God.
Discipline.
I heard ask.
They need them.
I just want to say I didn't hear you.
Unfortunately, it starts with
I need that.
It starts with us. If we don't start with us, if we don't lead us,
that's where everybody fails to rip that. Go ahead, bro.
But the discipline, when I say discipline, of course, I mean corporal. But also, it's deeper than just that. You need physical. These kids need physical discipline. They need mental discipline. They need spiritual discipline.
Speak that.
You have to feed these kids
I need you to
and let their creativity. You know what I mean? So
You know
when
what
I say
I said?
discipline, it's a 360 revolving door. It keeps
Speak that.
going.
Speak that.
You got a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the parents because they're the parents of the children that are out there. But when I grew up in Brooklyn, I remember when I was in Harlem, right? I did something stupid. My neighbor popped me, told my mother. My mother popped me. My uncle laughed at it. We still laugh at that to this day. See, what happens is now that we have this separation of people and families in our community, I can't talk to your child and tell your child, "Oh, get out that damn street." No, don't talk to my child like that. Well, what am I supposed to do? Let him get hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, so the community as a whole has to be a family. That's the reason why you got these shootings like this inside these communities. The community as a whole needs to be a family.
Say that to that camera. I don't think they listen.
Yeah, they heard me. Because the thing about it is, the reason why you have all these problems in these communities, these are friends and extensions of friends of families that are having problems with each other. And if you knew how close your parent or your family was to the family member that you are about to go attack, you probably wouldn't do it. But because we're so separated, well, I'm not supposed to say nothing to your kid. And your kid does something to my kid, now I got to come talk to you. Well, nah, speak to my kid. Please help. Discipline. I don't see what my child is doing outside when they're in the neighborhood. Help me. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Takes a village.
Takes a village.
Absolutely.
they need guidance, they need communication, they need sacrifice, they need people, somebody that's going to take up the time that's going to communicate with them. They need a reliable, consistent source of morality. Like this, I'll put it to you like this. When I was a kid, I hated drugs, because my mother was a drug addict. So naturally, I hated the drugs. But by the time I became a teenager, the drug dealer is the person that I was looking up to. Because that's the person that had all the money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the person that had the success in my community, at least the one that I could see. The one that seemed like it was attainable. The morality shift was, there was nobody like, hold on, man, you forgot about your mother? You forgot about that? You forgot about the hatred that you have for all of this? You forgot about that. All of this bullshit that you see is supersedes that. I ain't have nobody to do that. You know what I'm saying? They need somebody to talk to them, man. They need communication.
That's what we're here for.
That's what you guys are here for.
Of course. And all of that follows up to discipline. That's a part of discipline. Communicating is a part of discipline. And they need that, right? I ain't gonna hold you, man. I do it on a day-to-day basis. I swear to God, I do it. You'd be surprised. I be like, yo, listen, man, don't shoot him. Don't fucking shoot him.
You good, man. You good.
Speak that, G.
It ain't no humble way to tell somebody don't shoot him.
Right. Save your life. I just told my nephew that.
Yeah, like you have to. I do this on a regular basis. Don't do this. Don't fight this kid. Don't stab this kid. They need that. They really, really need that. And the majority of the crowd will sit there and they'll know, like, yo, he shouldn't do this. He should not do that. Some people gonna root for, hey, do it. But they know they shouldn't do this. But he need that one person or those people or the whole crowd to be like, hey, don't do this. It'll be way different. It'll be way different, man.
Add what moment to what he's saying. A lot of these kids want somebody to tell them to stop.
They
want
they just
but
craving
nobody
it.
Speak that.
They craving it. Speak that.
What's happening is the problem is that we're not healing. So there's no way you could ask me to cease fire when I'm hurt. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm a warrior at the end of the day, and if I feel like I'm robbed, then it would be the same on anybody's platform. If you feel robbed, like somebody took someone from you, it's not gonna sit right and easy with you. Where we come from, you don't take nothing from it. That's where we come from, because again, it's so compact, it's so cluttered where we are. You have to fight for everything that you have. So we don't have the privileges of having space and knowing that, all right, everything's okay now, I'm home. Because everything's not okay when you get home. And then you gotta go back outside, and the person is right outside, and it's like, damn, I can't get away. Well, something has to happen. So if somebody does something, like I lost my best friend out here. My best friend was a blood member, and I held him as he passed away. Never forget that. Never forget that. That's PTSD in its finest, right? So 28 funerals in 36 months is what I went through. Right? And you was there.
Wait.
I remember that.
Can y'all really take into consideration the amount of emotion and trauma that somebody gotta be dealing with for 28 funerals in 36 months?
Oh, I was grown.
When you talk about our community, like this is what I'm talking about. Like when you talk about our community and the kids, before you judge anybody or anything or what's going on, like this is what you have to take into consideration. When you look at a small community, Schenectady and Albany, they're decent inside, but when you look at the way the communities actually break down and think about the collective trauma in a space, like you really have to take into consideration what it takes to heal, like my brother said, to heal a community like that. Go ahead.
I want to just say something to all of you guys and any little young man that's out there listening. I was telling my nephew, just to piggyback off what this young man was saying, just yesterday, you know, please be mindful when you're in the streets. Think of me. Even if you don't really think about yourself and you don't care about yourself, you always say, oh, auntie, I love you, you like my mom. Think of me before you do anything, because whatever you do affects my life. It impacts my life. Like when you go kill somebody, you might as well have dug yourself a grave, because you kill your own future, you kill my experience with you, and you become a burden in a way that is just not necessary.
That's why I was going.
It's not necessary. All it takes is a minute. I have had ass whippings, and I'm allowed to talk about it.
Speak that. Speak that.
I didn't have to shoot nobody to make a point, ever. And I got all the respect I ever needed, and I'm still here, and I'm friends with people that I physically fought today.
Speak that.
like, and that's what I told my nephew, and that's what I'm telling y'all, and that's what I want y'all to tell the other little boy.
Yeah.
Tell him about the mother who talked about how it feels. And I'm writing a book. It's called The Letter to My Son, the Black Man. And that means you my son, and 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 you my son. And I'm affected when shit affects y'all. And I just have to tell y'all that.
We love you.
I love y'all too.
I
I just want y'all to know I think about y'all. I elevate y'all. I pray for y'all. And I care for y'all. I do. And I want all y'all young men to know that. Somebody somewhere cares. I care. I care. I do. Seriously, I care.
I got my brother said right there.
I care. Because a lot of times y'all don't care. I care. I love you. I love you. I love you. You look like me. You me. You are me.
What she's doing.
Like for real. Like seriously. That's what I don't think y'all take into consideration. This woman over here, when she said that all lives matter, she's somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother.
What I was saying was, what she just...
You speak of that. Like, seriously, I want y'all to hear for each other, care for yourself.
What she just did is what a lot of us in the streets needed to do. I haven't cried for my friend. I ain't cried for my aunt. I ain't cried for my sister. I ain't cried for my dad. I ain't cried for my cousin. I just lost a cousin. Right on Victory. I ain't cried for him. I'm not healed. Right now, I'm in such a different space right now that I haven't dealt with it. But if I was in those streets, you'd be looking for me. I'm being honest. If I was in those streets and I didn't have a brother to keep me straight and a sport to look after my kids, my mom to worry about, if I wasn't in this mature state knowing that I don't got too much time left to pass on a positive message to my kids, and the kids that's gonna be around my kids, because it ain't just my kids I gotta worry about.
Speak that truth.
Everybody else's kids too. It's like when you're driving. I know how to deal with my car, but I don't know what the next person's gonna do. But honestly, if I was in the streets, you police would be looking for me because you're not gonna take nothing from me. So we gotta start to heal. At least give these people some time before they get something in their hands and do something. Give them time to heal, because when you sit there and you think about it, it ain't really worth it. Doing something that man ain't gonna bring my cousin back.
Certain things you can't heal from. We say like, and then things you can't heal from. You just need constant treatment. It's just constant treatment. You gotta be there. Certain things just the community won't get over. The individuals in the community won't get over.
I can't agree with that, because
they need treatment.
I can't agree with that. Dude killed my cousin. Dude killed my best friend. Seen that in front of me. I had to watch this. I had to go to the court and sit in court and watch a grown man that just killed my little cousin and stole his whole basketball career. And I had to absorb that and understand, like, that man is now on his own route. There's mothers out there that lost their sons to the shit that we was doing. And they forgiven us even though we don't even know that they did. That shit is gone, bro. It's okay to forgive somebody. I talk to y'all. You blood. I got stabbed by blood, jumped by blood. I couldn't even live in prison because of blood. But I love y'all though. I love them. I fought both of them. Those is my boys right there. No, seriously, those is my guys right there.
There's a whole lot of truth coming out right now.
It's the truth. This is honest to God truth. You know what I'm saying? I forgave all of that. All you gotta do is just do it.
For all of you guys, right? And I think it's important for them to know. For all of you guys who have made your decisions, done what you've done, gone through incarceration, gone through the streets, and now you're on the other side. What brought you to the other side?
I don't know.
Why are you here? Like, at the end of the day, right? It could have been anybody. It could have been anything. You guys have already said, like, based on decisions, you could have suffered from anything. But I really want to know, right? What motivates you? What drives you? What was the light that turned on that let you know that there was another way? We're going to start at that end with that.
Me, I didn't want to go to prison no more. It was like enough is enough. It was 4 or 5
Wait, you
days.
mean prison ain't fun?
No, it's not fun.
No, you gotta tell them again. Nah, because kids don't know. Kids think it's cool.
Let them know.
I didn't want to go to prison no more. That's not what it is for me. I lost a lot of years in there. I was trying to get back, but you know, and I want these other kids that's out here. I don't want them to go in that path. I want them to do something better. Like, I could be doing anything with my time. I could be on the street, on Albany Street, or on State Street selling drugs, but I'd rather help the next person out.
For me, man, the whole time I went through all of it, I knew I didn't want to be there. I knew, like, no matter what you do, you commit a crime, as soon as you get to jail, as soon as you get to custody, you know, like, oh, man, I don't want to be here. Yeah. For me, it's just, I'm tired, you know? I'm tired, man. I'm just tired of it. It's like this. It gets to the point where if you don't condemn it, you condone it.
Speak.
Well, and something that's important for a lot of you guys who may not have been here in the beginning, something that's really important that he broke down and explained was like, when you understand exactly what your gang or what your set was supposed to be about, what he's saying right now, either you condemn or you condone it, like, you really have to take in the gravity of what's being said. Like, as a man, you have to ask yourself, am I living what I'm talking about, or am I just talking about it? What route am I walking? Like, this is the thing, like none of us here, we might not be rich, but like, we're rich in spirit in the way we do things. These are some of the most powerful and influential men I have met. And I don't got a college degree. I know my brother got 3, but I ain't messing with him, so he cheated. But again, when I think about like authentic, influential and impactful individuals, it's energy like this that's brought here. Like, where else in the world ever would you see something like this put together? I know for me, when we was in the streets, I would have never thought like, oh, the police chief's my friend. I'm doing interviews with the police chief, or I'm sitting around. We're doing a forum, live forum for the capital region right now that people are going to look at, and the information they're going to take in. Like, this is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Like this is different. This is something that's only a real spirit can really like this maintain. Like, this is crazy. I love you. I appreciate that talk.
What made you want to change that, Lee?
I lost my mother. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, that was my best friend. When I did come home, when I was released from prison, I'm not from New York, I'm from Indianapolis. And because I committed my crime in New York, I had to do my parole in New York, so I was not able to go home. After not seeing her since I was 16 years old, I was 23, and I still ain't get to see her. She died before I could even go visit her, give her a hug.
I'm sorry about that.
Can't say anything. So that's what kind of. Because when I was released from prison, I was still
Active.
Yeah. I was still very.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time.
I was still very active, and you know, like he said, if you don't condemn it, you condone it. And what I stood for, and what I took an oath to, was not what I was seeing when I came home. It was twisted, distorted, and destruction. So, like, with me losing that last little bit of support that I did have, I just wanted to, be the support for somebody like me who doesn't have support. So that's for me.
That oath, when you took that oath when you were younger, the streets got you, but when you took that oath when you were younger, when you came home, and you seen the younger ones, was it that same oath or no? How was it?
I can speak for,
Every set is different.
Yeah, I can speak from my perspective, my second family. Yeah, it was the same. And that's what kind of like broke my heart, because the interpretation I got out of these powerful words, how you not get the same interpretation out of that. So, like I said, it's
Me, 20, after going through all the things that I had went through, after figuring out like how fast things change, I had a conversation with my mom, because my last little bit of time, I was good. I wasn't really stressing. I said to my mom, I'm fine. She said, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be in there. You're gonna be out. I said, I know. I said, but I'm nervous though. I call it a panic attack, not because of the time. It's just the fact that a lot of stuff happens in here. And I didn't want to be in there and be stuck and have my mom going through this stuff and my family going through this stuff and me not be able to be there to help, because I had a conversation with almost everybody that had passed away, and then we had a family reunion, and then the next year, half of them gone. 1 year that happened, 1 year, and I'm literally just watching scoring more people, and hurt and just tear down things. And I mean, there was a point in time where I was still out here running around with a gun on my hip, because I'll be damned if you're gonna put me in a box. I'll go to jail. She'll be able to visit me, but I'll go to jail. But that was how I like validated these poor decisions instead of just not going out there. But now I don't go out there no more. So you know, it's different. So that, like, then I got a job and I'm sitting there, 'cause I was gonna do something really, really bad. And I called my brother and I said I need a job. I've been begging him for this job for about like 4, 5, 6 years.
Was this the first or the second time?
No,
I told you no.
So he's like, no. He kept telling me no. He's like, you're not ready. And I knew I wasn't ready. I would have been doing some other dumb stuff, but I was going to do something really bad. And I called him and I said, listen, I'm outside. I'm about to go do something. I don't want to do it. I need a job. He said, are you serious? I said, yes, I'm serious. He said, come here tomorrow. I've been here going on 3 years. I done changed a lot of people's life. Different.
And that's the power of change, is when you put yourself in a position, like a lot of people talk about putting their brothers on, but not many people are even really in position to create that opportunity. I think a lot of people want to. I think there's a lot of meaning well behind the statement, but you have to create enough change to put yourself in a position where, I'll tell y'all this truth, right? Every one of my staff members is formerly incarcerated individuals. Every one of my staff. And I did that because I understand the experience that comes with somebody making bad decisions. You see what I'm saying? And then being in a space when my brother called me the second time around, he said to me, listen, I need an opportunity. I knew the first time he called me that he was serious. And it wasn't that I don't love my brother or don't want to put him in a position to win, but I also can't put him in a position to fail. And that's the key. If I love you, I'm not going to put you in a position to fail. Because at the end of the day, my name and your name is on the line. So as I walk the walk and put myself in a position to create change for all the politicians, for all the business leaders, for all the people I deal with, the name William Revis is synonymous with change and effort. In anything I do, I create a certain amount of energy. What's crazy about this is, I literally put this together sitting on the beach with my wife. I didn't reach out to any media for this. All I did was reach out to my brothers, the people from the community, and I posted a flyer. The fact that we have this much media and this many people here, this much influence, it speaks to the volumes of the work that I've been able to do. Not because I'm better than anybody, but I'm consistent in my effort. When I say I put my life on the line for the community, I mean that. The same way when I was in the streets, my life was on the line for my brothers and for my family, the same way as in the community, it's the same way. That's the difference. So when I see individuals like this, when Alfredo brought down to me and was like, listen, I got a young man from the community, he's looking for opportunity, my word is my bond, like it was for my brother. So when he was ready, I gave him the opportunity. The same way my brother's word is his bond to me. So when he found somebody and was like, yo, he needs an opportunity, I don't even need to know the gentleman. I know you.
And that's my guy right there.
I don't know how this is all formed, but for this to be, for the media and everybody, not enough people are here.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't even supposed to be that big of a thing.
Nope, it wasn't promoted like that because the thing is we didn't want to create a situation in which it became egos over energy. We didn't want a whole bunch. It's not about an argument. This is these individuals sharing their life, their experience, their ideas, their innovation, their truth with you. I didn't want to create a situation in which it became overwhelming and it became something it didn't need to. Like, taking into consideration, we got the police chief and a couple of police officers here. I wanted them to be here, and I specifically, when we talked, I told them, nah, y'all just come here, stand in the back. I just want y'all to listen. This wasn't a conversation for a whole bunch of voices. This was specific because these individuals need to say what they need to say without any interruptions or distractions. So everybody gonna get the news feed later on, so they'll get to see it. Plus, we got, Ketchup Enterprise on the 1s and 2s with the camera, so the way the visuals is gonna work out is gonna be phenomenal anyway. But we've held you guys here for quite a long time. I think we've got a lot of information. I don't want to just close out, but we're absolutely gonna do this again. So before I give these guys a closing statement, for anybody that's here, you guys got any questions?
One last
I feel like it's important to ask questions. Any statements, anything. Go ahead.
So, fellas, are you guys going to be available for any young men that might see this podcast to talk to? If they need to talk or they just
I'm going to grab all y'all information.
Always
We'll
available.
make it work.
Absolutely.
All right.
Always
know
available.
We have the
So we got
telephone
information number and stuff for the kids who might see this later.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Our
absolutely.
fellas are in trouble out here.
I see that.
Yes, our babies is going down.
Another question.
Your legs work.
I do.
Got the kids who
I
are
do.
He said, I'm murdered.
He's always with the children.
She had a question.
Go ahead.
Bring that to grandma.
And before you ask your question, because I don't think we got to see who you are, tell them who you are and let them know. We have 2 city council members, Schenectady city council members here, but they was hiding behind the banners.
Congratulations.
Sneaker time.
Personally, I mean, I don't condone females on the streets. When I think about actual activities on the street, I always thought about it as like a warriors type of thing. That's just not something I like for females to have to endure. I don't know too much about all of their particular outlets, but as far as the things that I'm involved in and the things that we do, we don't ostracize girls from help.
We absolutely make space for young women to be involved.
Yeah.
Nationally Touching Greatness, that's the name of my own nonprofit. We have a sisterly love program. It's about 3 females that we have active, and they deal with the females. That's one of them right there standing behind me.
Okay. We need to bring her up here too?
Yeah. Not yet. But we deal with the females as well.
The same with the Band Brothers. We also have a female side of it because we're men, so our experiences mainly deal with those experiences that men experience. So we have the females, the women there for the females.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta tell who you are.
I know, right? There's a school units. I'm on the city council.
Okay.
I had to.
So I'm familiar with Local House. I'm not familiar with your organization or your organization. I know there's a lot of organizations. Can you just expand a little bit on where you're located? How would someone get in touch with you if there was, someone that you felt that needed help? Or, I know there's Facebook, but,
We are Google, we have phone numbers, we do have social media, it's the actual title, National Touching Greatness. We accept all requests. Open door policy.
Google business listing as well.
Yeah.
okay. So are you in Schenectady or are you in Albany?
Schenectady.
In Schenectady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then after this, you'll be seeing a lot more of them.
No,
Band
that's
Brothers.
okay.
Yeah, the name is
Band of Brothers,
Nationally
right?
Touching Greatness. We're trying to touch greatness nationally.
Band of Brothers is all.
Yeah, our headquarters are in Albany, but like he said, we're definitely trying to expand all across the state of New York and hopefully further after that. We're kind of a new organization last year. We kind of got things started. We got the Band of Brothers Inc.org for anybody that wants to check out the website. More information on there. Contact information. We have phone numbers for every phone. Phone number you can reach us at is 518-892-8673. For anybody that wants to call, text, set up an appointment. Number 518-892-8673. Call that number for anything you need. If we can help you, we can help you.
Thank you all. I really appreciate this opportunity to listen to everything.
So real quick, question?
All right, so we touched on healing, right? And one thing I believe helps, men, especially in urban communities, heal is being vulnerable, right? If I could ask y'all who you guys are, not on the streets. I'm talking about, I'm a father. I love to read books. Like, I want to know about you guys. That
That's a nice
sometimes you can't even. You feel like you can't even bring to the streets because you got to be so much of a soldier.
That was
Who are you, gentlemen? You feel me? Kids.
I'm me. In house, out the house. I'm silly. I'm retarded. We don't go everywhere. I'm in everything.
I'm goofy. I played entirely
Too much. Too much.
Football is my thing. I like boxing. I don't like jogging. I'm full-fledged father. Not perfect. Not trying to be. You know what I mean? I just want to be together. Here. I want to show all my flaws. If I can't show you what I made a mistake about, you can't learn how not to make that same mistake. That's who I am.
Plus, in this position, if you're trying to get the people to stop pillaging and become pillars in the community, you can't expect them to be vulnerable. You're not going to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable if you want them to open up to you. If not, they're just going to shut you up.
Myself, I'm a scholar, I'm a father. I love to educate myself on various subjects and topics. I don't know why I'm very interested.
I'm a science fanatic.
Yeah, we do science, like natural things, graphics, all that. Anyways, I'm a father, I'm a scholar, I'm a free, easily approachable guy, very compassionate. I think that's because I'm a Leo.
Leo.
So, come on. I got a pleading heart, so the golden rule that I believe in the universe is treat people the way you want to be treated.
Me, I'm pretty easy going. I'm a quiet one. I don't really like being too loud.
Unless he at work.
Stay back. I like reading books, like revolutionary books, and things of that nature. I like to teach and educate the youth. I have a passion for helping people. That's something I live for. So I'm always trying to learn something different things. Google's my best friend. Always on researching. That's what I do. Yeah, because So,
I appreciate y'all for that. I want to thank all of you for coming out. Now, before we leave, right, it's something important that we about to do. So we're going to shut social media down, right? So I want you guys to stand up. We're going to take a quick picture together. We're going to put. So everybody break your phones out real quick.
Put my phone out.
Yo, you guys share this. Make sure you show love.
This is what we want.
Hit that
You
stomach.
definitely got to go over there, man. Like, I'm
There we go. Yeah, you know you're supposed to be there. He pumped out.
I'm sorry.
I'm
walking through your face ain't in here.
That's how you die.
In that time, she got over.
This is what we want media to show for the next few days. This is what we want to see on the front page of the Gazette tomorrow. Because we know if we do something negative in our community, they won't show that.
Where's wife?
So we do something positive, we're going to make them show this.
My camera died.
Oh, man.
Hold on. I'm lying, it didn't die, but I ain't got no space.
Whose phone I got?
Wait, hold on. Hold on, I got it. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I make sure y'all get it. Hold on. I got a short man's complex. You want to slide this way?
I'm not even short. I got a short man complex.
Yeah, get in the center.
That's a good one, right? I don't know why I got to be first. Hold on. We're going to do this one right. I feel better now. That's a fact. Quick clip.
You got him on off?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, look here. 1, 2, 3. I got y'all.
Thank you guys very much.
Small, P-H-I-L-L-I-S. Something
Let's get a picture.
they don't think people care. You know what I mean? We do. I'm like cringe every time I hear it. You know? Yes, that's a nice one too.
Whose phone I got? Will's phone? He's dead.
Why are you like that? No, come in. Hey, let's get back to short just a little bit.
I'm not doing it. Yo, dip down low. He ain't got no knees. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright.
It was. That's really nice.
I'm like, you know, we talk about everything.
You guys want to ask any questions? Go ahead. They're open. Ask questions. Come on over.
Man, the lights on.
He's okay.
Yeah, it's something different. Now is a good opportunity to invest people like Dell, Shamel, you know what I'm saying, all these people back into the community, because that's the thing is, when all these things are happening in the community, it's individuals like them who are not part of the conversation. It's people who sound good in rooms and have degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but people who really come from it are not always part of the decision-making process. They don't always have the ability to know, like, you know, like this gentleman just started a nonprofit, but he's struggling with creating resources, he's struggling with getting grants and stuff like that. But just based on what you learned alone today, you're like, no, this is much needed. You know, we should have something like this. But if I don't take a drastic step to do something like this, how many people in our city know he's? I was supposed to meet you before. You know, because they've been out here for a while. He's been out here trying to do, and I told him, I'm like, nah, I got it. Watch. What's up, Pete? Everything good? How'd you like it?
It's good. Did you say everyone is a former gang member?
Yeah. Hey, you talk to me sometimes. I'm gonna ask him. Okay, go ahead. Ask him. They'll tell you.